So we're here today to discuss how to leverage the reset moment, how to not just get through, but to create new opportunities and reinvent business as COVID recedes. And I'm delighted to be joined by Sean Kelly, who is the CEO and founder of Caroo.com, previously SnackNation. So hello, Sean, great to have you along.
Hey, Hamish, always wonderful to be here and be here with the OneLeap team.
Awesome, likewise. And just for background, so everybody knows all the fantastic stuff you've done, and this is just a very edited summary. You're a two-time Inc. 500 listed entrepreneur. You're one of America's most promising CEOs under 35, recognized as in the top 25 young entrepreneurs by Businessweek, Generation Next, entrepreneurs from CNN. The lists roll on, and that's before we get into the workplace and culture awards that make Caroo and formerly SnackNation one of the top places to work in the United States. And just for context, you and I have known each other since, I think, 2014, when you came to Poland, I think, on one of our venture sprints. That's where we bring together a team of OneLeap guys, some amazing entrepreneurs like you, and we help really large global listed companies do incredible things by applying a more entrepreneurial set of insights and ways of working.
It's we have a lengthy experience together, Hamish, and always love the OneLeap events and what you guys put on for your clients, and love being a part of them.
So first off, when we talk about the reset moment, when we think about it at OneLeap, we think about a fundamental shift in people's needs, behaviors, and expectations. What are some of the big areas of potential when we leverage that reset moment from your perspective?
The first thing that comes to mind for me is the fact that companies are now expected to focus on the entire human. One thing that's not going to go away, and not enough people are talking about it, the pandemic has caused the personalization of everything. And so people are now expecting that personalization. And so you can no longer look at like, oh, what do I want as a company? That's kind of like a customer or another company being like, well, what do we want? Not what our customers want. You got to think of your employees as customers. You got to realize that they're all unique, and you got to build plans and environments that suit them. We're no longer going to feel this dearth of connection because presence doesn't equal connection. And pre-pandemic, everybody was like, well, in order for me to recognize that you're doing good work and we're connected, I need to see you every day, or I need to see you all the time. That's ridiculous. It just means perhaps putting in a little bit more work, which I think is necessary if you want to give people an amazing employee experience.
Great. Well, there's some fantastic examples of opportunity areas. So for other companies in different spaces, one of the questions I have is, what aspects of an entrepreneurial mindset can leaders use to spot these reset opportunities?
The easy way to say it is curiosity. But if we're actually looking at a tactic or a skill to develop inside an organization, whether you're a leader or you're focused on your team, is the scientific methodology, the ability to experiment, right? There's a great book called Experimentation Works. It talks about how the most innovative and best companies develop curiosity through an endless stream of experiments. And then I think that the reset, one of the things I love about the resets, you really only get one chance to reset. But it gives us this amazing idea to say, like, you as a leader, you as a professional, us as a company, this is a time where you can actually change. Like, all that stuff that you wanted to change for so long, you can actually choose to change, but you can't say it and then do nothing about it, because then the reset moment will fall dead. It's integrating that scientific methodology. It's letting people know, like, we're actually okay with you being wrong as long as you've disproven or proven something. And so that's what we're trying to do, is just increase the number of experiments, which is really a reflection of curiosity. So curiosity isn't just this Care Bear kind of thing to say. It's actually curiosity put into measurable action.
Yeah, makes complete sense. So what as a leader can you do as a CEO in particular, or one down from that? What can you do to create that setting so that you're not so much the first violinist of the experimentation orchestra, but you're the conductor, enabling everybody else to run those experiments? What can you do to make that happen?
Great question. First thing is, you can create literally an experimentation log. We have an experimentation log that our president put together that shows any active experiments that we're running at any given time. The goal here is actually to be a little bit more robotic, and just understand that if you do enough tests and you get to that testing methodology, you're going to iterate so fast that you're going to crush the competition and provide a wonderful value prop to both your employees and customers.
Mm-hmm. I really like that, the making it automatic, because it seems to me like that takes out the emotional risk of being involved in an experiment, which is one of the biggest issues, particularly in high performance companies, where if you are taking that risk, you might not get a home run first time.
I mean, I remember in OneLeap, that's something you guys talk about all the time. You often work with some of the largest organizations in the world and enterprises, and that can be really hard because people can feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a leader in a huge multi-billion-dollar company, and I'm expected to know what's right. I'm expected to have conviction. It's like, no, you don't get points for conviction within the scientific methodology. You don't get points for right. The best leaders are not the ones who are right the most, they're the ones who can run the most amount of experiments the fastest.
And that neatly brings us into a belief, and we've talked about this before, that entrepreneurship isn't just the domain of startups. So one of the things we talk about is large companies can still be very entrepreneurial. They're often sitting, though, on what we call unmined gold, right? They just haven't recognized all they have. And I look at your story in moving from SnackNation to Caroo, and what's your unmined gold, I guess, that you've described or discovered along the way?
I think for us, we discovered a couple things. First of all, one of the challenges, like necessity, right, is the mother of innovation, right? What do they say? Because we were put into this place with SnackNation where, like, oh my gosh, a large percentage of our revenue is in offices. We need to do something else. And so what do? We knew that we needed to do something. And therefore, like, it removed this risk of potential failure, because we're like, we're not going to allow this huge chunk of revenue to go away. Let's immediately dive in and ask our customers, what can we do? And in that process, we actually mined the gold that was the reason people hire SnackNation to do a job for them. It's actually all around employee care. It's around making people happier, more engaged, more productive, giving them energy. And when we recognize that, we're like, people don't care whether it's in the office or somewhere else. And frankly, there's all these other ways we can help companies provide care, not just through, for instance, nourishment and snacks, but other goods, other forms of recognition and gifts.
And I like the way you talk about effectively the business you're in, because that is the quintessentially entrepreneurial viewpoint, right? And last question, as you say, we can't be doing beers in Poland and cooking up the next great ideas all the time. So stepping back through what we've discussed, what you've experienced in Caroo, the entrepreneurial mindset, the experimentation, your top three.
My top three is, think of one thing for you as a leader and as an organization that you want to have be different from the perspective of mindset or empathy or values or whatever it may be, because you get this chance once. You may only get this chance once for the rest of your life. Two, I would say the thing that we're hearing so much is that the employee value proposition and the employee experience has changed forever. And so if you got to nail it. If you don't nail that, you're going to be one of the companies, I think, that has a retention issue. The third thing I would say is just allow this to be a time where, I mean, I just think it's the most beautiful and wonderful time. I think it's a push yourself, especially if you're an employer, especially if you're a manager, a hiring manager, push yourself to understand that there's actually a ton of company benefit to allowing people to live the life that they want while working for you. I know I focused more on the HR segment because that's frankly where we spend a lot of our time, but that's what comes to mind.
No, and I think it's not just relevant for HR, it's like relevant for the entirety of the company, because as you say, everyone has an interest in knowledge economy and talent, and the switching costs are really low coming out of this. So that's critical. Well, look, Sean, thank you so much. I think incredibly valuable insights. And yeah, you are leading a company that is providing that complete care that is exactly what it sounds like people need coming out of one of the worst times we've had, but hopefully leading us into one of the best times, the times of reset, renewal, and opportunity. So thank you again, Sean Kelly, founder and CEO, Caroo.com.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it, Hamish.